Oh, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. Hope you've all been having a good end of the year. I'm back here bringing you some more magic content. Starting off 2022 with two of my favorite people. We have Jordy, Mr. Netherlands. He's playing his favorite deck, Gruul lands. Just an old school legacy staple here. The red, of course, for things like Valakut Exploration and Punishing Fire, which, especially the Punishing Fire, is probably going to be pretty good here against Sam, who will be playing Izzet Delver. I mean, I'm calling it Delver, but yeah, most of these decks aren't exactly Delver anymore, are they? It's all just Ragathans and Dragon Rage Channelers. It's more Izzet tempo these days. But that's okay. I mean, Delver has always been like the go-to deck. Izzet tempo has always been the go-to deck. Yeah, am I gonna call it Delver or am I gonna call it tempo? I'm just gonna call it Delver because it's pretty much just the same deck, you know? Nothing much has changed. Aside from, well, taking out the Delvers. Actually, I think Sam is still playing 2 Delver, so I'm just gonna keep calling it Delver. But yeah, love it or hate it, it's the deck that most exemplifies what Legacy is. So, and if you don't like it, well, you got Jordy. Jordy's got your back. Gruul lands. Just a fascinating deck all around. Just being able to play just exclusively lands is just... It's just something unique, you know? You can't do it in every format, so it's something uniquely Legacy. I mean, you could do it in Vintage, but it's not really that popular. Never really got off the ground. You see it on occasion. It got a bit of an upsurge after they unrestricted Fast Bond, which is a fantastic card, really is. So, Valakut Exploration gonna get forced here by Sam. Probably a good call. Because once you get an exploration going, that thing generates an amazing amount of value. Just lands into lands into lands, and then you shoot a bit of damage. Besides, the cards you don't use actually go back to the graveyard, so if your lands go to the graveyard, you can still get them back with life from the loam. Punishing Fires still come back. So all-round great card for the deck. Now we see Dragon's Rage Channeler coming down for Sam here. Dragon's Rage Channeler. You either love it or you hate it. I can actually find it. There we go. Yeah, Modern Horizons 2 has definitely had an impact on Legacy as well as Modern. In Modern, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some parts of the format have gotten really expensive. Like, Ragavans and the Vogue Elementals especially have really upped the price of the format. Even though the fetch lands have actually taken a pretty big drop in price, which is great. Like, the Fetchland reprint did pretty much what it was supposed to do, so on that aspect, great. Terrific. But now, instead of fetches, we have Ragavans, we have Solitude, we have Fury, we have Endurance. Pretty relevant for this particular matchup. I think Jordy is playing Endurance in the side. card which has, you know, I think I expected endurance to have more of an impact on the format. Uh, a 3/4 that you can flash in with reach. Honestly, I expected it to be better against Delver than it actually is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised at how. What's the word I'm looking for? How fair it's been? Like, I would have expected Delver to just keel over, to be honest. But, I mean, Delver itself kind of did. Yeah, no, I expected it would do more. And it's not that it does nothing, it absolutely does something. Like, the card is amazing. Hell, I didn't expect it to be good against combo decks like Doomsday or something, but I don't know. I expected it to do other things that it didn't end up doing. You know? Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, we have Murktide Region coming down from Sam. Gonna be a 5/5. And a Valakut Exploration from Jordy, which looks like it did stick. Land drop finds a Windswept Heath, and that's gonna ping Jordy. And sorry, not Jordy. It's gonna ping Sam. And Sam drawing a Force of Will for his turn. Now, the Force of Will isn't going to do much right now, but could in the future. But Sam is still beating down quite significantly here. The Maze of Ith was wastelanded. That would have saved Jordy a lot of damage here. We have a Dark Depths in play and a Yavimaya, which means Dark Depths is now also a forest and a Life from the Loam coming out for Jordy. Gonna pick up the Windswept Heath and the Maze of Ith. It's too bad Jordy doesn't have an exploration. He would have been able to play the Maze of Ith, save himself a bunch of damage. Unfortunately, Sam lost Delirium playing the Murktide region, which means Punishing Fire takes quick care of the Dragon's Rage Channeler, but that still leaves the Murktide region. Now Maze of Ith comes down. I missed what the draw was for Sam here. Grove of Burn Willows, that's definitely something Jordy wants to see here. And yeah, he might be able to stabilize here. Or as one wasteland blows the whole thing out of the water. I think there is a Brazen Borrower for Sam here. Which, yeah, that is a Brazen Borrower. Which unfortunately doesn't work on the Maze of Ith. But it is another creature should Sam decide to flash it in. I mean, it loses him Force of Will, but at this point, I don't think Force of Will is the way he's gonna win this. He needs to pressure Jordy. Because the moment Jordy gets anything relevant, like the moment Jordy finds like a Thespian stage, Sam is in a world of hurt. Jordy, I think, is thinking of dredging the Life from the Loam. Yeah, is gonna dredge the life from the loam. Ghost Quarter, Sylvan Library, and another Maze of Ith. Gonna cast the loam. That Maze of Ith might just seal the deal here. Yeah, Grove, the Ghost Quarter, and the Maze of Ith. Ghost Quarter gonna be able to start attacking Sam's mana base. And that, I think, is all she wrote. I mean, Sam still has the Force. He'll need to pitch his only threat to actually cast it, which means that he loses his clock. It only works for a turn, because next turn Jordy just dredges again. Maybe that time he finds a Thespian stage. Yeah, forcing the loam here it doesn't do anything. Finds another Dark Depths. I mean, Jordy is really good at finding Dark Depths this game. Not very good at finding his Thespian stage. Second type. There we go. Sam's draw looks like... Yeah, that's a Volcanic. Didn't end up casting the Brazen Borer because of the Punishing Fire. Jordy's like, yeah, if I'm not finding Thespian stage, I'm just gonna go pay for Dark Depths fairly. Yeah, that works. It's a clock. It's not a very fast clock, but it's definitely a clock. We're gonna dredge once more. That's a crop rotation, a Thespian stage, and another crop rotation. Okay, double crop rotation is not ideal, but yeah, you just loam for the Thespian stage. And Sam now just... I mean, does he have to force this? I mean, it looks like he's choosing to force it. Oh, I mean, yeah, he has the mana to do it, to hardcast it now, so that makes sense. Because now, if Jordy decides to make Merit Lage, he can still use the bounce on Brazen Borrower to get rid of Merit Lage. Still not winning, but it's something. Another Thespian stage. And deal one to Sam. Force of Negation being drawn here. That could potentially take care of the loam. That is actually a really good draw. Because Sam has the mana to both counter... Oh, and then there's another loam. I was gonna say, he could counter the first loam, which then goes into exile, and then Petty Theft, Merit Lage, and then be somewhat stable, but with the second loam now being dredged, this is not good. Sam needs another Force of Negation here, or some way to exile the graveyard. Punishing Fire off the Velikut trigger here. Like, even if you get rid of the loam, even if you get rid of the lage, you still have double Maze of Ith to worry about. You still have the Punishing Fire Grove of the Burn Willows combo, which... Now with the second Punishing Fire, not even a Dragon's Rage Channeler with Delirium is going to be safe. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying I'm just not seeing it at this point. I think that was a land. That was a lightning bolt. I mean, yeah, Sam could just draw 2 lightning bolts and do it that way. Yeah, that works. You're already gonna start grinding the punishing fires. Oh, that's funny. We got Tabernacle, the third loam. So combat damage is not going to be the thing that wins Sam here. My English is very good, yeah. Now, Sam's out here is lightning bolt, pretty much, or forked bolt, or whatever the kids are playing these days. Gut shot. Gut shot might be a thing. Gets rid of Ragavan. Maybe no, you don't play End the Festivities in the main. That is a sideboard card. There we go. Oh, throwing the bolt. Jordy's at 1. Did not draw the bolt. Thespian Stage gonna copy Dark Depths. Merit Lage coming down. And now Sam is in trouble. I mean, he was in trouble, but now he's up shit creek. Punishing Fire. Punishing Fire again. Put him at 6. Put him at 7. Pick one of them up. Gonna bounce Merit Lage. And Jordy correctly identifying that Merit Lage might not be good enough. Is going on the Punishing Fire train here. Though, as is often the case with Punishing Fire, red mana is tight. It is tight. Jordy thinking about dredging, decides not to. Looks like a wasteland as the draw for the turn. Yes, comes down. Landfall trigger. Puts a wasteland under the exploration. That exploration just doing some work here. Basically just in a deck like lands, exploration might as well be drawing them. Like, sure, you're leaving yourself open to getting your graveyard exiled or your loams removed. But if your opponent doesn't do that, then all your land drops are just cantrips. That's incredible. Just an insane amount of value for any deck. Jordy going aggressive here on the land destruction. I think I missed the point of damage there. I see Sam on 5. I trust that he is on 5 then. Punishing Fire, gonna put him to 3. Punishing Fire, gonna put him to 1. And then pick it up, put you to 2. Untap, and kill you. And that is game 1 going to Jordy. So, game 2, both players again keeping their 7. Now, from Sam's side, I'm expecting definitely surgical extraction. Because you have to answer the life from the loam or you just get overwhelmed so fast. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Maybe he boarded in like a Caracas from the side or something. I'll have to see. From Jordy's end, maybe a Sphere of Resistance is probably looking good. Or Pyroblast. You can never go wrong with a Pyroblast. Jordy start off with an Exploration and an Engineered Explosives on 1. That's a good turn 1. Sam apparently doesn't have any interaction for any of this, or is choosing not to use it. I do see the surgical. I see a lightning bolt in Sam's hand. I think that is a brazen borrower, an expressive iteration. Bolt going to Jordy. Getting some damage in, getting the Surveil off the Dragon's Rage Channeler, and Sam is in fact playing Delvers. This is Delver in every sense of the word. That's what we like to see. Or not like to see. To be fair, I haven't been playing Legacy for that long, but as long as I can remember, Delver has been the top dog, or at least one of the best decks in the format. And honestly, I personally wouldn't mind Delver just losing a couple points at this point. It's been so long. But, you know, people have very strong opinions about Delver. It's hard to say much of anything in favor or against doing anything about the deck, but it is what it is. Wasteland gonna take care of the volcanic, and now Sam could really use an island. Sam thankfully doesn't forget to trigger the Delver. Jordy may respond to the... Yeah, Jordy decides to wait for Sam, maybe flip something, and then just have that information. Unfortunately, it doesn't flip, but Jordy wipes the board regardless. Expressive iteration coming out. Did Sam just put 2 cards to the bottom? Yeah. I think Sam just went top bottom. That's okay. That happens. Let's see. Jordy gonna play Life from the Loam. Making his wasteland back up. Gonna get rid of the volcanic. Is he gonna get rid of the volcanic? Yeah, he is gonna get rid of the volcanic. Alright. And now we kind of see the danger of loam. But thankfully Sam had the surgical extraction. Is gonna get rid of loam. And Jordy reveals... I think that's endurance. Really good card. And 2 punishing fire. So Jordy's hand looking not too bad. Gotta say. So saw a choke and red blasts, pyroblasts, whatever they were, in Jordy's deck. He's also showing Urza's Saga. So yeah, the sideboard cards definitely included the red blasts, the chokes, and I'm not sure if the endurance was main or side. I think Lance usually plays them in the side, or like half and half. Yeah, I think it's half and half. Also worth mentioning, I didn't see Sphere of Resistance. Maybe I missed that. I don't think I did. We'll see. Endurance, another one of those Modern Horizons 2 staples. One of the Evoke Elementals. Just the all-round really solid card. Solid because it's just so damn flexible. We have Relic of Progenitus coming from Sam. Interesting. I would imagine that has to be like a cycling thing at this point, right? Because with no loams, I don't think the graveyard actually matters for Jordy anymore. Yeah, in this situation, I'm not that much a fan of the relic. Because your win could very well be reliant on Murktide region. And not to mention just turning off your own delirium. But maybe after a Murktide region you could consider cracking it. For now it's not gonna do all that much, I feel. I like bouncing the Mox Diamond though. I definitely like bouncing the Mox Diamond. Because that means Jordy has to discard another land to actually replay it. Which, again, he won't be able to get back at this point. So Jordy gonna endurance himself. Using the mana of the Mox Diamond and the 2 lands. Did I miss a point of damage again? I think I missed a point of damage again. On both ends. Wow. Getting back into it. Yeah, that's what happens when you're out of it for too long. But that's okay. That is okay. Yeah, Sam flashing in the Brazen Borrower during Jordy's end step. Jordy's like, nah, you're not untapping with that. Gonna Punishing Fire. Oh yeah, of course, the Punishing Fire. That's why the relic still matters. And now that Endurance got rid of Jordy's graveyard, that Punishing Fire is just straight gone. Ooh. But Jukabok getting rid of Sam's graveyard, that might incentivize Sam to get rid of the relic? No, he knows about the other punishing fire. He knows about the punishing fire. Ponder coming out. I mean, if Jordy can find a red source, he can cast the punishing fire and just leave up the grove. That doesn't quite work. Because then if Sam taps the relic and you try to pick it back up, you just crack the relic. And it gets exiled anyway. Okay, I was maligning the relic a bit too much, maybe. Methinks. Yeah, that relic is actually helping more than I gave credit for. That being said, Sam is still staring down an endurance. That's a problem. Monk's Diamond. Gonna discard Misty Rainforest and swing in for 3. Gonna exile the Misty. This leaves us in a bit of an interesting spot. That is a Submerge and a Force of Will for Sam, looks like. Submerge is a pretty good draw here. Question is, when is Sam gonna pull the trigger? That would be now. Gonna try and get rid of the endurance for at least 2 turns worth of damage. So not the worst. Actually, I think Sam is at 8. That what the, yeah, I think that's what the die says. So now he picks up the endurance again. Will be able to flash it in at the end of Sam's turn. And while Sam is still alive, he's just not drawing anything. There's just no threat here. Jordy using Thespian Stakes to copy Grove. He might try to pull some shenanigans with Punishing Fire. If nothing else, he still just has the endurance, so Jordy is still looking mighty good here. Double Wasteland for Sam, but not really doing anything here. Oh, that's a Dark Depths. That's a pretty good one. I can hear Jordy say, that's not just any land. Yeah, no, that's cool. Of course, Sam does still have the Wasteland, so it's not that good right now. But at some point, you're gonna have to force Sam to use the Wastelands. Like, right now. Endurance gets forced. Is this the opportunity? Yeah, this is the opportunity for Jordy to just make a merit lage. Does Sam have an answer for this? Because if he doesn't, then this game's over. Yeah, this game is just over. First game of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Goes 2-0 to Jordy.